Hey y'all, welcome back to Tiara's World. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be reading a book today. I'm catching up on my reading. It's going to be A Place to Go, A Place to Grow by Lou Dantzler, founder of Challengers Boys and Girls Club. If you know, you know. 51st in Vermont. Okay, I'm sorry that the book looks like this. I should have wiped it down. Lord forgive me. Lord, forgive me. But I've been taking care of the book. Maybe not the outside, but the inside. I've been taking care of. I gotta get another hard copy for this book. Because this is history, baby. Anybody know about Lou Dantzler Challenges Boys and Girls Club? Whoever's invested in Challengers Boys and Girls Club, they know. Okay? So, I'm going to be reading for you guys. And don't talk about my reading. I ain't read in a long time, so yeah. This is Lou Dantzler. Boom. And I actually do know the other two girls, but I don't know them. I don't know him, but I know the two girls. And A Place to Go, A Place to Grow. I'm going to start with reading the back. The man who brought hope to South Central. Lou Dantzler, founder of Challenges Boys and Girls Club, in his besieged neighborhood in the wake of the 1965 Watts riots. Yeah, sounds about right. What started out as a circle of a dozen boys meeting under a tree has grown into a multi-million-dollar facility that has served more than 30,000 children and inspired President George H.W. Bush and called him a true American hero. Lou Dantzler has created an oasis in the midst of a war zone. His story's message is an inspiration for us all. One person really can make a difference, and what a difference Challenges Boys and Girls Club has made to the community of South Central LA. Travis Smiley, author, television, and radio host. A powerful book, Lou Dantzler proves that what boys living with poverty and racism need is a good parenting, whatever the source, and that the human heart has no gender. I'm gonna read it again. A powerful book, Dantzler proves a powerful book, Dantzler proves that what boys living with poverty and racism need is good parenting, whatever the source, and what the human heart has no gender. And that the human heart has no gender. I'm sorry. It's the lighting throwing me off too. But, okay. By applying the lessons his own single mother taught him, that man can be taught mind and soft. The man can be... It's the cursive too. God damn. Hold on, baby. What? I don't got my glasses, y'all. I don't have my glasses. Okay. Anywho. Oh my God. By applying the lessons to his own single mother taught him, that man can be tough, minded, and soft-hearted at the same time. He gives the boys of South Central LA new and positive ways to become strong and caring men. Peggy Drexler, Ph.D., author of Raising Boys Without Men. Lou Dantzler treats the poorest child with the same dignity and respect he showed President George H.W. Bush. When he visited Challenger's Boys and Girls Club, a place to go, a place to grow, shows Lou for exactly what he is. A man with heart, mind, and soul dedicated to a critical mission. Opening kids' eyes to all possibilities and giving them the power to choose their own path. For Los Angeles Mayor Richard Royden, R-I-O-R-D-A-N, Royden. Challenges was a mark of inspiration for me, and it continued, okay. That was said by Richard Royden. So these are quotes. Okay. Last quote. Challenges was a mark of inspiration for me, and it continues to be a mark of inspiration for thousands of kids in South Central, said by John Singleton, filmmaker and former club member. The first quote was by Travis Smiley, author, television, and radio host. Second one was Peggy Dexler, Ph.D., author of Raising Boys Without Men. Former Los Angeles Mayor Richard Royden. The third quote, written. And John Singleton was the last one, filmmaker and former club member. Getting into the book. Okay, so it says one man's mission. Let me show y'all. One man's mission. If you ask Lou Dantzler how he, a sharecropper's son from the Jim Crow South, became what President George H.W. Bush calls a true American hero, he'd say he was just doing his job. For nearly 40 years, that job has been changing the lives of more than 30,000 kids who've grown up in the violent, gang-ridden streets of South Central Los Angeles. In the late 1960s, Lou, a proud new parent and homeowner, was quite literally confronted with South Central's growing crime and juvenile delinquency when he caught a pint-sized burglar, his 11-year-old neighbor. Yeah, pint size. What you got a phone for if you won't use it? Okay.
Pint-sized.
Pint-sized, like I said. Red-handed in his own kitchen. Instead of blaming the boys, his single mother, or looking for a better place to live, he asked himself a question. What did this boy need? And for that matter, what did all the other fatherless boys in his neighborhood who followed his lawn service truck begging for rides in the back need? The answer seemed simple, at least to Lou. A place to play, to belong, to feel safe. At first, he feared. Hold on. Ferried. A dozen boys to a park. Ferried, meaning convey in a ferry or other ship or boat, especially across a short stretch of water. So transport from one place to another on a trip. At first, he ferried a dozen boys to a park on Saturday afternoon in the back of his truck. Yet, in a matter of weeks, there were hundreds of kids hoping to squeeze into the back of Papa Lou's pickup. Soon these groups of boys became a club, the Challengers Boys and Girls Club. Oh, they got a bag. Hold on. Oh, it's more on the back. Okay, so we're on the back now. Okay. Soon the group of boys became a club, the Challengers Boys and Girls Club, which today is a multi-million-dollar facility occupying 4 city blocks, complete with a track, tennis, and basketball courts, a library, a radio station, in short, a model facility, a true oasis, held up in a shining example by the Boys and Girls Club of America. Shout out to Papa Lou. Shout out to the Boys and Girls Club. Shout out to Mark, Lou's son. Shout out to all of them, Nate. Oh my God. Anybody knew what's his name? The radio. See, my memory. Oh my God. But I miss Challenge Booker. Yeah. The radio person who used to teach the radio station and everything, he passed away a couple of years ago. May he rest in peace. I really forgot his name, and that's so sad. Oh my God. Oh, it's gonna come up to my memory, but he was connected to one of 6 and Park and all that. Yeah, he was connected. Okay. I'm mad because I can't remember his name. Anywho, the Boys and Girls Club is definitely an oasis. It's like the energy you bring, you feel me? Like, it was the people teaching there. Everybody got their boundaries, rules, all that and everything. But Challenges Boys and Girls Club really allowed, like, kids to get into activities, open up, They had video recording. Oh, sorry, my hand is ashy now. They had where you could record, yourself, like broadcasting and stuff like that, to the, Boys and Girls Club, and the radio where you could go live, record yourself, commercials, all that, art, science, track like that, like they said. Even a garden for the teens. The teens built a garden right across the street. And then it's just people, you keep messing it up, you feel me? So they shut it down. LA can't have nothing good. It's all the damn motherfucking shit that, I'm sorry, excuse my French, all the gang violence that's going on, and the things we want to partake in, and then the things that we don't want to partake in. Like, we'll speak on certain things, like, yeah, we need to, but then it's like, we still stuck in a money system, kids feeling like they're pressured to make money, like 13-year-olds, like 10-year-olds. How you think you 10, 8, all that under 18, period, think you got to make money? Because when you're 18, you got to get out the house. You got to be prepared. You got to, you feel me? Get it how you live in South Central LA. Like, our parents wasn't left nothing. Our parents was left the system. Their parents were left the system. So it's like, we got to get out this system. Clearly, it's not working. And that back there says, I will be successful and free. I will be successful and free. You feel me? I will do all I can to be successful and free, bro. Like, my success, I just want generational wealth for my family, as far as like being emotionally happy, physically good. Like, I want if I don't get a house, property, land, or whatever, you know, to be able to eventually grow my own source of food and stuff like that. Just learn how to trade. That's all we got, y'all. That's all we got. I don't know. So, you know, yeah, trying to take care of myself and eat in every way possible. You feel me? Yeah, I stick to myself. I know I'm a source. I'm a dog trainer. I am a giver. I'm a carer, lover. I would definitely be mother, nurturer to anybody's kid. Like, you feel me? Like, kids are the future. We are the future. We were once kids. You feel me? So we can't put it on kids to be like, oh, now it's y'all turn when we're still in it. You feel me? Just because we change, we get into a career, we think no, this money system's not right. We shouldn't be in this money system. Back to reading though. A Place to Go, A Place to Grow tells the remarkable story of Lou, his personal beliefs, the courage club members to reach. My bad, y'all. A Place to Go, A Place to Grow tells the remarkable story of Lou and his personal beliefs that encourage club members to reach their full potential. The club's alumni include some of the incredible successes from former basketball MVP Eric Davis to director John Singleton, and more than a few former gang members turned ardent challengers, devotees, some of whom have become club safe members, leading the next generations of children by following Lou's example. Soon as Mark, I feel like, passed away, like, we tried to keep the spirits listed and everything, and then I don't know why I want to say his brother name is Matthew. Mark, like Matthew. Like, his name is not Matthew. I think it's Lou. You feel me? But he gonna talk about it in the book. And once I get it, you can get on me. I'm sorry. Don't, you feel me? I'm sorry. But I know Mark. Ooh, yeah. I'm upset because I can't remember these names. But it's in here. It's in here. So be patient with me. Yeah, as soon as it started going down here, they tried to keep it, you know, up a par. And then I think they ended up selling it. Once they sold it, it was just like, what do the black people really own? Like, what do we really have? You feel me? And I would have loved to go back and work there. You feel me? I'm all for the kids. All for the kids, baby. You feel me? But we got some work to do. Like, yeah, definitely parents had to pay for kids to go to the club and everything. And stuff like that. Everything should be paid by the government. Shit. Sorry, snap. Like, whew. I need a bathroom break. Okay. Bathroom break over. About the authors. So, Lou Dantzler formed the Challengers Boys and Girls Club in 1968 and today remains its president and CEO. And today remains its president and CEO. Not today. Hell, the fuck? No, not George W. Oh, well, I guess back then. He served on the National Commission of American Urban Families, a special commission created to examine the decline of inner cities. Catherine Felicina is a freelance magazine and newspaper writer based in Los Angeles. Jacket designed by Anthony Serge. Jacket photographed by Kathleen Felicina. So, sorry y'all, but I will probably hit y'all up for this. But I might just hard cover it. Forget fixing it, but like just hard, what is it called when you wrap it in that clear paper so it won't mess up? Y'all know what it is. But yeah, praise for Lou Dantzler and the Challengers Boys and Girls Club. Magic Johnson said, if it wasn't for Challengers, where would the kids be? Right. But the fact that, come on, Magic. What we gonna do, Magic? Lou Dantzler's incredible dedication and caring provide an example we could all follow. He shows us how it only takes one person to make a difference. Baron Davis, a professional basketball player. The next one is from Richard Dean McGyver Anderson, Challengers board member. Seeing how Lou interacts with the children of Challengers leaves no doubt as to why many of them have called him Papa Lou. I've known him for 20 years, and he epitomizes what a true role model should be. To come back now and see how far Lou has taken the club, well, it's an absolute miracle. Eric Davis said that. Former basketball MVP and former club member. The service that Lou Dantzler provides to the children of South Central Los Angeles, the Challengers Boys and Girls Club, is exceptional. It makes our jobs easier in that neighborhood, and his story is one I hope many will draw inspiration from. William J. Bratton, 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 Chief of Police, Los Angeles Police Department. Okay. William J. Bratton. Okay. Simple things that make differences for at-risk children. Lou Dantzler, founder of Challengers Boys and Girls Club with Kathleen Felicity, followed by Magic Johnson. A place to go, a place to grow. It says, to my mother, Narvis, the original challenger. Okay? Shout out to his mama. George Bush. I guess George Bush wrote this. September 12th, 2005. Dear Lou, I am thrilled that you are sharing with the world your inspiring story of courage and compassion. Having the privilege to know you and to see firsthand the good work you are doing at Challengers Boys and Girls Club, I am delighted that countless others will now have the opportunity to read about a true American hero, Lou Dantzler. Barbara and I look forward to reading A Place to Go, A Place to Grow, and we salute you and all the volunteers at Challengers Boys and Girls Club who gives so much of themselves so that less fortunate youngsters have an opportunity to excel and succeed. You are a genuine point of light, and then you exemplify what is best about our great country, serving others. Congratulations, Lou Barbara. I send you our warmest personal regards. Sincerely, George Bush. Mr. Lou, President, Chief Executive Officer, Children's Boys Club, Vermont Ave, Los Angeles. Okay. It says Forward by Magic Johnson. And I'm going to read it. I took the back off. It came off. It says Forward. I know it's backwards, but you can read backwards. You're smart. You're kind. You're important. All right. Whew. Okay. It says, the first few months after I moved to Los Angeles in the summer of 1979, I was pretty lonely. I had just left all my friends and family in Michigan and moved halfway across the country to the land of swimming pools, movie stars, and endless freeways. And I didn't know a single soul. I know it may sound unbelievable, but here I was living my dream of playing for the Lakers, one of the best teams in NBA, making more money than I had ever wished for. And yet, for a while, I was miserable. Until one day, the mayor of Los Angeles, Tom Bradley, offered to show me around. He spoke of one place and one man in particular with such pride and enthusiasm that I couldn't wait to see what he was getting all worked up about. So you can imagine my thoughts as we left the manicured palm-lined streets Los Angeles is famous for, and made our way farther and farther south on busy, congested Vermont Avenue, where some of the cars had more colors of paint than a peacock and did the walls of most of the stores, thanks to the graffiti. We all turned into a dusty parking lot in front of a plain blue and white building. I was going to reread it. We turned into a dusty parking lot in front of a plain blue and white building. I couldn't help but wonder if we made a wrong turn somewhere. I mean, didn't the mayor say we were going to a wonderful place to meet some wonderful people? I kept my thoughts to myself as Mayor Bradley led me past the leaning, rickety basketball hoop toward a large door at the side of the building. Before we had the chance to open it, however, the door burst open and out walked an energetic, barrel-chested man with one of the most electric smiles I've ever seen. As Mayor Bradley made the introductions of Lou Dantzler, shook my hand warmly, and made me feel as welcomed and comfortable as if I were in my mother's kitchen. Great to meet you, man, he said in his unmistakable booming voice. I'm so glad you came down here to see us. We're all really excited to have you here. And with that, we walked into what he proudly called a gymnasium, packed to the rafters with what seemed like thousands of kids of all ages, which to me looked more like a warehouse with it painted concrete walls and cracked linoleum floor. Yet to Lou and these kids, this was paradise. Lou then showed me around the club, which shabby though it this nigga woo! Okay, we all gotta come from somewhere, right? This is my first time ever reading this book like fully through, bro. So yeah, I had it for a minute. So y'all gonna work with me. Which, shabby though it may have been, was nonetheless spotless. And it was that infectious, positive manner of his described everything as if this place were Taj Mahal. As we moved through the club, I watched how he interacted with the kids and noticed the special relationships he had with each of them and how eager they all were to please him. Just a simple gesture or a few positive words from him seemed to be all they needed. I couldn't shake the feeling he reminded me of someone, though I couldn't put my finger on who. He had an easy laugh and an upbeat attitude. Yet I also witnessed how strict he could be when someone got out of hand, which is easy when there are several hundred teenagers running around. Well, they weren't actually running, come to think of it. I guess what impressed me more was how well behaved those kids were, how they sat where they were told and to sit and to listen when someone else was walking, talking. They behaved just as I was raised to behave by a strict and loving parents. And then it hit me. Lou reminded me of my parents. His carefree smile and enthusiastic nature was just like my mother, and his strict discipline and to take no excuses demeanor was just like my father. My dad, my hero, and I looked around at these kids. I realized that Lou was the father and hero to all these hundreds of kids from the forgotten parts of Los Angeles. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel lonely. The day became the first countless visit I made to the club. And the check I wrote to Lou that day was the first of many checks that I happily wrote. Because I knew that whatever dollar I was giving him was being stretched and molded and twisted and coxed every which way in order to make it to go as far as possible for those kids, just like my dad did for me and my 8 brothers and sisters when I was younger. I grew up in the kind of African American family that people today worry is disappearing. A happy, close-knit family with 2 parents and time for the whole family to be together. Sadly, the way of life I had growing up was alien to many children of South Central. But breathe a little easier knowing Lou was there to be the father to them all and help guide them to become good, caring, hardworking adults. He was there every day providing protection, safety, and education, all in a place where they learn value, have goals, and have goals and look to the future. It's more than just a safe haven. Now, more than 25 years after my first visit, I see the club today. What Lou has built for these kids is truly amazing. The radio station, the tennis courts, the library, the McDonald's. I don't remember McDonald's. But I think, McDonald's was, they used to have McDonald's all the time, heavy, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I used to love McDonald's. Fuck. Anywho. Woo! Training center, the dental clinic, everything, the experience these kids are getting is what's being missed in our community for too long. I've long believe that the reason inner city can't compete is because we don't have the resources and opportunities that some of the better off communities have. Take Challenger's radio and television station. Before Lou built it, how a kid from South Central supposed to get the kind of exposure to something like that, which could potentially lead the lucrative career. Now, any club member can learn how to shoot and edit a video or see what it's like to program a radio station, value job, skills that are, Now, any club member can learn how to shoot and edit videos or see what it's like to program a radio station and radio show. Value job skills that are in big demand in Los Angeles. The determination and will to take them to the determination and will it took to make that happen in the face of so many obstacles, lack of interest in the area, lack of funding, crime, riots. I could definitely appreciate. It's similar to what I experienced and when I was going to build a state-of-the-art movie theater complex in the heart of South Central. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just like congested, kind of, sort of, you know. Shout out to Amanda Johnson. You're crazy to waste your money building something so nice in that area, I heard. Within a year, it will be covered with graffiti, some said. Well, here we are 10 years later. The Magic Johnson Theater is still as beautiful as the day we opened. The staff is just as welcoming and friendly, and business couldn't be better. In fact, its success has encouraged other developers to make investments in the area. I mean, Hollywood is right up the street. Sorry. My lips kinda. Hollywood is right up the street. I look at challengers as being similar to my theaters. Just like the multiplex at Challengers, visitors are always very impressed by the cleanliness and the friendliness of the staff and the quality of service it provides. Not to mention the incredibly high standards those kids are expected to live up to, which they do. There's no question that we had to bring those kinds of standards to our community to help its children understand that there's no question that we had to bring those kinds of standards to our community to help its children under that when they grow up, it is what society is going to be expecting of them. Soon after my first visit to Challengers, I began to meet more people in Los Angeles, make friends, and become more at ease living here. Now I can't imagine living anywhere else. What I also can't imagine is what this community would be like without Lou Dantzler. What's being accomplished at Challengers is not done by a committee of planners, PhDs, and politicians. Rather, it reflects the vision and dedication of one simple man who, though his own life was marred. It's not mirrored. Life was marred. M-A-R-R-E-D. Marred. Excuse me. Marred, impair the appearance of disfigured, or impair the appearance of, also meaning disfigured. Though his own life was marred by tragedy and obstacles, used his ambition and will to succeed, not to enrich himself, but to uplift the entire community. Lou believes, as I do, that these young people in South Central want to learn and to stay out of trouble, but they need somewhere safe to go. They need a place to go, a place to grow. Acknowledgements. when I took 12 boys in the back of my pickup truck to the park all these years ago to keep them out of trouble and to give them something positive to do, I could never have imagined almost 40 years later I would end up making a difference in the lives of more than 30,000 boys and girls. But I didn't do it all by myself. There have been many angels who helped me over the years, and I have been blessed with their support and wisdom, and some are mentioned in this book. And those who aren't, I would like to acknowledge, like the people from the early days who, along with my cousins Willie and my sister Annie, Sarah and Sally, my brother Arthur, helped steer me in the right path. John Thompson, Freeman Thompson, Jonathan Hampton, Thelma Green, and James Owens. People who supported me with friendship like Walter Christopher, George May, Ted Bowden, and Ed and Gracie O'Neill. Those who helped me start the club, such as Howard Banks, Sharon Ireland, Al Carson, Toby Walker, Carl Moser, Paul Nathanson, Gene Moki, and Vonder Ahi family, Roland Baker, Dr. Richard Deal, Curtis Knox, Priscilla Ferguson, Catherine Williams, Doris Hodge, Charles and Dean Brooks, Bob Barber, and Mayor Tom Bradley, people who helped me take the club to the next level, like Warren Lanier, Maury Wills, Fred Williamson, Don Newcomb, the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, Larry McCormick, Brad Pye, Richard Roundtree, Sidney Poitier, Richard Pryor, Michael Johnson, Magic Johnson, sorry. Lon Rosen, James Worthy, the Los Angeles Lakers organization, Mark Soggins, Ken Fearn, Rodney P.T., Helen Washington, Michael Tenenbaum, Bob Gay, Peter Urbroth, Bruce Haggerty, Bernard Parks, Dennis Holt, him, Hill, Steve Downing, Richard Dean Anderson, Allie Mills, Lou Gossett Jr., Ed Laura Peterson, Jim Shepard, B.C. McCabe, Lisa Firestone, Winroad B., and Arlo Sorensen. Support came from all areas, from people like Scott LaChasey, Irma Smith, Roger Smith, Leroy Chase, John Destot, James Stranton, Jim Richardson, Barbara Sticker, John Shadwer, Richard Jones, Yolanda Nunn, Mike Bruce, LA City Councilmember Gilbert Lindsay, Rita Walter, and Jan Perry, Mayor James Hahn, LAPD Chief Williams Braden, Serge Mahoney, Dr. Reggie Bennett, Dorothy Banks, James Williams, Howard Scoffer, Wesley Maryland, and Keith Askins, Moru Floyd, Lorena Nash, Danny and Lisa Chapman, Jim Kunkel, Dick Burton, Harvest Johnson, Scott Cunningham, April Janney, Wade Killefer, Ken Crow, Dr. Charles Belcher, Richard Franklin, Barbara Walker, Dr. Robert Bachelis, John McLaughlin, Sam Peter, Bill Borgios, Borgios, John Creighton, Ralph Doe, John Miller, Samuel Williams, Gilbert Williams, Marilyn Owens, Roy Roberts, Lee Mitchell, Paul Carson, Bishop William Luru Dillard, Jeff Gadlin, Ron Turner, Ed Kirby, Dr. Frederick Rutherford, Yvonne Jackson, Sharon Hempfield, Dave Clark, Denzel Washington, Steve Harvey. No, I'm playing. Steve Harvey, Shaquille O'Neal, okay. Arson Bean, Bill Davila, Dr. Louis Dr. Louis Sullivan, Sam Taylor, Ralph Henderson, Lee Mitchell, Lindsay Hughes, Bessie Atkins, Lou Johnson, Al Downing, Ivory Manier, Bill Elkins, Nate Wilson, Mayor Richard Riordan, Rep. Jack Kemp, Mayor Richard Riordan, Rep. Jack Kemp, Secretary of State Colin Powell, and President George H.W. Bush. As well, there are many people in the Boys and Girls Club of America who helped me climb the ladder of success, and I credit them with helping me realize my vision. Judette Pickens, Jim Cox, Lincoln Ellis, Alan Young, Robert Monk, Al Sechrist, Pelton Stewart, Jim Canfield, Roxanne Spillett, Tom Garr, Evan McElroy, Steve Salmon, and especially Robbie Calloway, my friend, mentor, and Star Chess supporter. I will always remember what you did for me. And let's not forget all the original members of the club who were there as we found our way in the early days, including those first 12 boys I took to the park. My brother-in-law, Michael Talley, Terry Smith, Terry Baker, David Dukes, Milton Collins, and his cousin Ronald, my son Mark, and the 5 Robinson boys, Eddie, Don, Ernie, Ronnie, and Marlo, and who formed those first branches on the tree that became challengers. Okay, hold on. I'm confused. I thought Mark had a brother. Or was that his cousin? Tall, chunky, handsome. You know what I mean. He was married. He had a daughter. Yeah, I forgot his name. I think I seen him when I went to New Orleans to Challenges Boys and Girls Club. It was like a nationwide event, and me and my step team went and performed for them, and I think I seen him there. Yeah. But I don't see his name here. But his son Mark. The many who came after them, such as Kenny Keith, the Sylvester Roger, Eric Davis, Ronnie Rogers, Wendell, Rock Williams, Jerome Taylor, Carl Reed and his brothers and sisters, Kelvin Smith, the Size Sisters, the Powell brothers, Theodry the Third, Laundry, and Deirdre, Liodry and Deirdre, John Singleton and Terry B. Moore, to name a few, strengthened those branches and helped our tree grow. Writing a memoir is something I would have never considered, but now that it's done, I am so grateful I did. And I have my co-author, Kathleen Felicina, to thank for pushing me to do it. Kathleen brought with her some of wonderful angels of her own and who helped us realize our vision and have given both of us an invaluable advice and support throughout. Name Lee Terry Curtin, Kristen and Neil Spanier, Matt Johnson, Meg Grant, Barbara Thornhill Wilson, and especially Michael and Janet Feasley, who introduced us to Shalene Martin, our amazing literary agent who make miracles of her own happen every day, and Suzanne Whitcomb Beard, whose instincts and support we couldn't have done without. I would have also liked to thank our publisher, Rodale, and the two editors who believed in me and brought their incredible talents to this project. Lisa Considine and Leah Flickinger. I am so thankful for their support, wisdom, and expert guidance. I would have also liked to thank Kathleen, husband, Peter, and children, Daniel and Zoe, for letting Kathleen spend so much time with us in South Central. Their support and understanding were invaluable. But most of all, I would like to thank my family, Ruby, Mark, and Corey, who allowed me to take precious time away from them so I could build this club and to make a better community for us to live in. They are my most profound blessings. Without them, there would be no challenges. Made it to chapter 1. Okay, so I think I'm gonna just read chapter 1 for today, and that'll be it. I need a smoke break, and I might come back later and read. I gotta pee again. Hold on. Okay, y'all, back again. Chapter 1. I'm going to do and start with the South Central Stare. Okay, back again. So I just realized it's Corey. Hey, Mr. Corey. So yeah, Corey and Mark was the owners of the place when I was there. I graduated middle school in 2008. So 2007, 6, 5, and 4, and probably 3, I was there. Yeah. I mean, wait. Hold on. That was 2008. It was 2012. Okay, so it was 2012. I graduated. I went too far back, my bad. And so 2012, 11, 10, and 9, and 8 is the year I went to. Is the year I went. Yeah, and all that. So let's get back to it. I turned off the light because it was just too bright. Too bright for me. So my little dark elbows. Yes, I ain't got no. Anyways, I ain't got no lotion on. All that comfortable in my home. Yes. Quote. Chapter 1, South Central Stair. What should it avail? What shall it avail our nation if we can send a man to the moon, but we cannot cure the sickness of our cities? The McCohen Mission Report of the Watts Riot. McCone Commission Report of the Watts Riot. I think that's one of the officers. Driving through my neighborhood, you have to watch for bikes. The streets, wide, flat, and straight, are set on an orderly grid. But even so, you have to keep a close eye out for boys riding around. Sometimes in lazy circles of figure eights, other times in breakneck speed, standing up, pumping on those pedals, bodies crouched forward. They pay no attention to passing cars, but if they do look at you, the impression you see isn't gleeful or eager. Instead, your glance is met by the singular look that is a hallmark of this particular neighborhood. A rock-hard stare through hooded eyes, muscles of the face frozen in a lifeless expression. It's the type of glare that looks right through you. The South Central Stare. In this neighborhood, a child on a bike isn't a symbol of carefree summer days spent exploring. These kids aren't riding over to a friend's house to read comic books in the treehouse or to play fetch with the dog. Here, these kids on bikes are sentries, lookouts. Call them what you will. They are gang members or wannabes. Anyway, being paid to scout for police while their homies conduct business hidden from sight in nearby houses, apartments, cars, alleyways. They weave arrogantly through streets crowded with mothers holding toddlers with one hand and disposable diapers in the other. Old, grizzled men clinging to shopping carts. Overflowing with other people's garbage. The cars that range from aged, limping rust mobiles to crisp black and white. The trial behind shiny, tricked out cars with the blackened windows. The ever-present thump, thump, thump of a booming bass that beats a rhyme into your chest. These are the kids who, though not yet teenagers, can often make more in one day as lookouts than their parents can at the low-wage jobs. I remember one kid who told me, "My mama don't even make $100 a day. For the cop come, all I gotta do is whistle or ride down to tell him I got my money." So you see them riding around all day, no school for them in the neighborhood where most of the dogs run neglected in federal packs. These kids on bikes are on bottom rungs of gang life. These kids on bikes are on the bottom rung of gang life, trying to work their way up. But as I dropped to work on April 29th, 1922, it was early for these kids to be out. No one buy drugs at 7 a.m. The time I usually get to work, so I enjoyed the relative peace, and I turned off Vermont Ave onto 51st Street and stopped at the locked chain link fence. Reaching for my jumble of keys, I opened the lock, slid the gate open wide, and drove across the parking lot to my usual parking spot next to the basketball court. I got out of my car absent-mindedly, squinted around the perimeter of the place, and looked up at the large, neat white building with the blue trim and a sign that said in big blue letters, Challenges Boys and Girls Club. I began my day. 24 hours later, I drove down those very same streets, one and I had driven for almost 25 years. Nothing looked familiar. The route I had long ago established to went my way, though South Central Los Angeles was a foreign to me, as if the route I had long ago established to wend my way through South Central Los Angeles was as foreign to me as if I had been driving through the street of war-torn Beirut. Yesterday seemed like years ago. I drove slowly, not because there was anyone on the street at this hour, but because of the lay before me. Shards of broken glass carpeted the streets. Rubble from what looked like cinder blocks of concrete made them the obstacle course. Smoke and ash filtered up the ruined buildings, intermittently clouding my view. Cars and overturned shopping carts competed for space hazardingly in the streets and in garbage-strewn lots. As I approached the intersection of Vermont and Vernon Ave, I noticed the smoldering ruins of the large shopping center on my right, and determined and decimated pawn shop across the street. I took a deep breath, which was hard with all the smoke and still hung in the air, and exhausted slowly. The destruction from the first night of what was to become the worst riot in the country's history was blocking my path. The day before, a non-black jury acquitted 4 white Los Angeles police officers for beating a black motorist, Rodney King. The verdict read at 3 o'clock the previous afternoon seemingly caught most of Los Angeles County by surprise, especially its police department, because the beating had been corrupted over videotape and was shown endlessly on TV. Many thought that finding the officers guilty in using excessive force was a foregone conclusion. So the subsequent not guilty verdicts stunned most of the region of almost 9 million people. The verdict, however, didn't surprise many of the most 3/4 terms of 1 million people in the community of South Central Los Angeles, more than half of whom were African American. Many in the area did so violently, setting off a night of mayhem that saw the LAPD, thanks to comprehensive live television news coverage, beat a hasty retreat from an intersection ruled by an angry black mob set on venting their pent-up rage and unsuspected non-black motorists and store owners. When the police left, the gangs took over. Then the fires and the looting, the shootings and the beatings began. My hands gripped the steering wheel with impatience. I died. Damn. I'd been glued to the television the night before, hoping to catch a glimpse amidst the horrifying images of a city exploding in this particular block to see if the building was still standing. The place that housed the organization I had founded more than 2 decades earlier in the aftermath of another wave of deadly riots, also sparked by police tensions that had wreaked unbelievable havoc in this very same community. Oh my God. This is crazy. I started Challenger's Boys and Girls Club back in the back of my pickup truck in 1968 with 12 fatherless kids from my neighborhood who said they'd never been to the park and were afraid to go because all of the drugs and crime. I thought this was so sad. Shouldn't every child be able to play in the park? So I said I would take them one Saturday to play some sports. Since then, I have made it my mission to wipe the South Central stares off the face of the children of this community and replace them with the smiles and laughter, curiosity they each have the right to. But it was and is a constant struggle. Gang life, the offspring of decades of poverty, racial tension, and despair, had become synonymous with South Central Los Angeles. When I started working with the kids of this area in 1960s, I focused mainly on them keeping them out of gangs so they wouldn't get into drugs, crimes, and juvenile hall. Now the club staff was working twice as hard just to keep them alive. Our club is located on the front lines of gangs warfare, Vermont Ave, the unofficial dividing line between the east and west sides of South Central Los Angeles. The Crips and the Bloods each set about trying to carve extra little territories out our increasingly discrepant neighborhood. The rat attack of drive-by shootings with automatic weapons was becoming all too familiar to us, as was the almost never-ending presence of police helicopter circles overhead like noisy vultures. Members of the club had been killed by gang gunfire. One house barely a stone's thousands from our playground. One house, barleys and stones stones throw from our playground. Read that again. One house, barely a stone's throw from our playground. Home to both gang members and club members. Sported numerous bullet holes, ever-present reminders of the violent right outside our doors. For us, unfortunately, the sight of squad cars screeched to not stop in front of that house and others nearby was commonplace. However, those problems were nothing compared to this. I thought, sadly, I navigated around an abandoned smoking car. I'd watched it pour the night before as members of the 8-Tray Gangster Crips flashed their gang signs on live TV after they had been beating a poor, defenseless truck driver in the middle of an intersection of Florence and Normandy, about a mile away from the club. I saw members of rival blood gangs rip the bars off liquor stores' windows and smash their way in, grabbing all they could, carrying everything free. One shouted happily for the TV cameras. For so many years, I had dedicated myself to trying to keep the kids of the community out of gangs by providing positive alternatives to the streets. And here these hoodlums were further terrorizing the streets and the many innocent people who were unlucky enough to live there. The police seemed powerless to stop them. What if they burned my building too? What then? Finally, I could see it. Even in the ordinary days, our building is hard to miss. The 20,000 square foot facility stands a good 25 feet tall with the sign extending almost another 20. Rarely did anything in South Central reach more than 2 stories high. On a clear day, you can see about 40 square miles of flat expanse from hills of Ladera Heights west of us. Not a single skyscraper or tower breaks the horizon. It's as if an invisible hand holds everything down, keeping us all in our place. Our building is an exempt. Our building is an exception. Though not by a sign, it was donated to us. The 40-foot sign, which now says Challengers, once drew people to the grocery stores it once was. I hoped it was now a beacon for another kind. I pulled in the driveway and unlocked the gate and the chain link fence. Which was undisturbed. I squenched through the smoke and made my way over to the building, preparing myself for the worst. I was stunned. Relieved to discover that it looked exactly as I had left it. Miraculously, it was completely untouched. I said a silent prayer of thanks and I opened the front door and I was greeted and comforted by a silence of the cool, dark, empty gym. Just as then, I heard the sound of the car in the parking lot. My heart jumped, peeking through a crack in the door. I saw an unmarked police cruiser rolling through and pulling up next to my car. I let out a breath. It was LT. Bruce Haggerty, her head of detectives of LAPD 77th Street Division, our precinct, and our board's president, and he got out of the car. I noticed that, like me, the first thing he did was scan the building and the best he could through the smoke, the haze, to see if any damage had been done. A mixture of anxiety, anger, frustration, and fatigue played across his face. It was drawn and pale. This had been hard on us all. Bruce is an honest, hard-working, smart, dedicated man who really cares about his community. He cares so much, in fact, that several years earlier, he stopped by the club one day introducing himself, and he said he had heard about what we were doing and wanted to help in any way he could. He wanted to make a difference in children's lives that were all needed to be here before I put him to work. That was all I needed to hear before I put him to work. Bruce, I called out, over here. His head snapped in my direction, but not before I noticed his body stiffen and his hands reflectively go to his holster. God, we were all jittery. Hey, Lou, he said, his face relaxing, and he saw it was me. We embraced for a long time. Are you okay? How are you doing? Oh, man, I whispered, seeing Bruce's emotion by mine right to the surface. I was still a state of shock and disbelief. I stunned so that such violence could erupt again, especially after all we went through during the 1965 riots, and now my sadness and anger were coming forth as well. But more than anything, I was thankful that our club had been spared. Bruce and I had took a walk around the club, both of us still amazed that nothing had happened to it. There wasn't a scratch. On the other side of the Vermont, not 40 feet away, a row of shops half a block along was still smoldering, completely destroyed. Look, they even burnt the church, I remarked it to Bruce as we looked at the place across the street from us, where the church had stood not 12 hours earlier, just the pose between a beauty parlor and a liquor store. How could anyone burn down a church? I tell you, it's crazy, Bruce said quietly. It was so obvious how much he took all this to heart, but even though he had been up all night working, the squeal, unprecedented amount of violence, even before I'm looking that way not because I'm fucking up, because what I'm reading, like, anywho, I'm gonna keep it to myself. Even before going home to see his own family, he came by the club. I'll never forget that. So you gonna keep the club today closed, Lou? That's what it say. That's what it said. Yeah, I think that's best. I don't want anyone out in the streets today. Good idea, though, Lou. Good idea, though, Lou. It was bad enough last night, all of us trying to get these kids home safely in the van after all the violence started. No, I think I keep it closed today. And tomorrow, just in case, when it will be the weekend, and by Monday, hopefully things will be back normal. Hopefully he had a goddamn meeting, too, with the motherfucking black parents. The black people, because, you know, we need to really stay focused. Stay focused. Anywho, I gotta pee again. God damn.